Procrastination Nation Candid continues next. Brought to you by the makers of the Panasonic camera.
Rolling. Sound.
Godspeed.
Awesome. And something say Godspeed. That's better. Yeah, it's okay. I was thinking about the other ones. All right.
We okay back there?
All right. And action. All right. So could you state your name, what your major is, and what quarter you're in?
Okay, I'm Dave McAdams. I'm a digital film and video person, and this is my fourth quarter. So.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what brought you into, what brought you to school? What brought you to school?
What brought me to school?
Yeah.
I just needed a change of pace, something that I just didn't like where my life was going, so wanted to do something that was fun, and this seems to be something that has a little bit of fun with a little bit of creativity, so that's why I kind of chose this, to be around a bunch of young folks like y'all, or all y'all, that's Texan for more than one. So
what was it like for you then being creative?
It's creative, I don't know. It's basically, it's looking at a situation and trying to make it better. Actually, my creative style is, I really don't even know if I even have a style yet. It's just too early for that, for my thing. What I like to do is work with other folks and feed off their ideas and provide them information that I think that would look good, and to maybe enhance what their ideas are, or give them a thought that they maybe didn't think of before. So that's what I kind of like. The creative process there is more collaborative than creating, I guess I would say.
So is that how your workflow is? How you do things, how you process, how you finish, I guess, assignments in school?
No. Procrastination, that's actually, for personally, in a personal atmosphere, I'm a chronic procrastinator. It's always been that way basically through my entire life, even through my military career. Anything that had to do with me personally that I had to do, I usually ended up me putting it off to the last moment. Probably would have been a lot further in my military career if I'd have, taken time out and did more studying and things like that. But more than likely, I was usually working on the team process, where I overextended myself. So therefore, I worked for the team, not wanting to disappoint the team. So I usually backed off on myself. And that's basically what I'm doing here in school right now too. If I learn, and I keep learning, that I overextend myself quite a bit, and I make promises to other individuals that I will keep, and I sometimes shortchange myself, which ends up me having to do processes and things like that for my own self, or for my own grades. Usually suffer for that.
So your procrastination derives more from helping other people out of.
I'm actually easily distracted. So somebody will call me up and say, "Hey, I need some help on that." I said, "Let me see where I'm at in my schedule, and if I can fit them in, usually I'll fit them in. I can usually shave off an hour here or an hour there, doing something I need to do for myself. Then I would do that. So I usually am fairly easily distracted. Or if I see somebody needs some help, I'll usually step over and help them with something before I get back to my own personal stuff."
So has this, I guess, since this is affecting your grade, have you thought about ways to maybe?
I'm not really, but I'm not really worried about grades. Grades don't really, especially at this point in my life, grades, it's understanding and learning. And if I can get the most out of the class by helping other individuals and bringing them along with me, then that actually is more satisfying than working for the A. More than likely, if I would have not been a procrastinator in my own self, I probably had straight A's all the way through school, straight A's through college before even coming to here. Probably wouldn't even have been here because I would have been doing something else. I'd probably been vice president or something like that of a corporation, because that's where I was heading after I got out of the military. I had moved up many steps in manufacturing, but it just wasn't fun. So therefore, I decided to bail on that before I became too old. And let's go do something fun for a change. So that's why it's a personal choice, I think, and that's where I think procrastination is. It's a personal choice. It's understanding yourself, understanding where you're supposed to be. Can you accept the consequences of your actions, you know. And I think it's a logical, and sometimes, sometimes it's a logical choice, you know, to say, you see somebody else that's in more dire need or help, you want to help that individual because you know where you're at in life. If you're comfortable where you're at in life, I think procrastination sometimes doesn't really hurt, you know. So you just have to make a conscious effort or a conscious choice to procrastinate.
So you think it's more of a choice. So then, I guess, looking back at your past careers, then what is the difference between for you with the feeling of procrastinating in more of the school environment, even though you passed that in, and procrastinating more in the military or work world more like is there?
Well, it's what I was talking about. Even in the military, when you procrastinate, usually when I procrastinated, it was usually around the house or when I was anything that had to do to anything that didn't really respond to a group setting, something to have that if I had committed myself to a group, then I was going to go full force into that. If it was something that was singular toward me and things like that, that I knew where I could hold off or needed to press the pedal and meet that deadline. And yeah, sometimes the work was good, sometimes the work sucked, and you had to go back and redo it. But as long as the mission got done, then that was where it was at. So it's a little bit different in the business world. In the business world, if you're not working, you know, like I guess the guy we saw in the movie Sacred Places, if you're not sweating, you're not working, you know, and you've got to. The business world doesn't let you slack off, or you're out the door. So it's a little bit different like that. Usually, your personal life is going to be affected more than the business life. So, but in school, it's a little bit different. There's still pressure, but it's relaxing and it's fun. It's fun to be. I have had. So, and the happiest I've been. So, I've been really enjoying doing this, even though I do have struggling with getting homework done sometimes. It's still fun.
So then I guess if you're having fun, it's not. You don't think about it as more of an issue. Then it's just
It's a conscious effort because I have time to do it. So the question is that, and the funny thing is when I sit down and actually do it, it's actually fun. So that's what I have to realize is that I don't treat it as work, treat it as fun. I think once I realize that, then even that, my procrastination is going to do it. But like I said, I'm 45 years old. It's kind of hard to change. So, but it does. And I've gone through all kinds of training to prioritize your A, B, and C priorities, get these done first. Which one's the hottest fire? Those are the kind of things that we had to put off, and had to do and had to think about. So.
That's an interesting perspective on that whole situation. I think you mentioned this earlier when you were talking, but just so you can clearly, how would you define procrastination?
One's inability to self-regulate themselves to get the job done. That's kind of like, is not putting the right priorities in the right place for the right time to do a good job in a time that doesn't create stress on yourself. Okay, and I guess the reason is that stress is part of our lives. Whether it's getting married, whether it's a death in the family, whether it's going to school on the first day, there's always stress. The question is, what kind of stress is it? Is it bad stress or good stress? Procrastination is bad stress. Those are the ones that make you still feel sick at the pit of your stomach and things like that. You're not. So those type of stresses really take years off your life. So if you can really cut that out, then that's where it's going to actually help you out in the long run. A long, healthy life, especially for folks that have a lot of time ahead of them. If they can learn that earlier than I did, then maybe they'll have a better and happier life. Those stresses won't be kicking in as hard. Okay.
CTC Friday.
Pleasure to finally meet you.
Val is in for the test of his life.
All you have to do, shake your little tail and see if he bites.
What do I look like? One of your whores?
Look, I'm not asking you to fuck this guy, right?
Oh, yeah?
Will Mandy and Val pass the test? Failing could have deadly consequences for the both of them.
What if I do?
Don't test me, bitch.
The CTC premiere movie The Test, this Friday, only on the CTC. Watch it. Watch it right now on the CTC Play.